We just got what could possibly be the last Nintendo Direct solely focused on the Nintendo Switch. And for an end of console life Direct, it was pretty good. If you had told me like 2 weeks ago that Nintendo was going to have a separate Nintendo Direct from the Switch 2 Direct, I would have told you that you're a leaker and that you're the worst person on the planet. But no, it actually happened. So good job, leakers, I guess. I'm Devin from the Power Up Brothers, and we're going to take a look at everything that was in this Nintendo Direct. It opened pretty strong with games that I'm excited about, the Dragon Quest 1 plus 2 HD 2D remakes. This is something obviously we already knew was coming out, but it was cool to get actual gameplay. We hadn't gotten gameplay yet. It looks really good. I loved the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. It was so good. If you haven't played it yet, it's actually, I think it's a really good starting point for just Dragon Quest in general. I think it's a great place to start. It's simple, it's not a super long game, but it gives you kind of the general idea of that sort of high-flying adventure, fun fantasy that Dragon Quest is all about. It's a great entry point for the series. So that was cool to start off with. We got some games that I'm not going to talk about because I don't know what they are. Games like No Sleep for Kaname Date or Raido Remaster. I'm not talking about them. We got another look at Shadow Labyrinth. I don't know how I feel about this whole dark-toned Pac-Man game. I love Pac-Man games, but I don't know about that. It feels campy and weird, which arguably it is supposed to be campy and weird. So maybe that's the point. Then we got a look at Patapon 1 plus 2. I don't really know anything about Patapon, but I do remember Patapon back in the day. And a lot of people talked about it. I remember back then it was kind of crazy for a game to be based around rhythm, but it's not a rhythm game. I mean, it is a rhythm game, but it's not just a rhythm game. It's not like Guitar Hero or Dance Dance Revolution. It's actually got other elements to it that make it kind of a strategy game. You're like commanding an army. So again, I wish I had more to say about it. I'm gonna try this one. Now it's coming to Switch and Switch 2. So that was pretty cool. We got Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Okay, I didn't play the DS version. It said it was originally released on the DS, but then later he said this is the latest installment in the Story of Seasons franchise. So you guys, if you're a Story of Seasons fan, let me know in the comments. Like, is this new? It looks... I didn't play it on DS. Back then it probably would have been called Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar or Harvest Moon something. So if this is a new game, let me know. I love Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons, so I'd love to play it. It's better than Stardew Valley. That's not staying in. I'm not leaving that in. Then, oh, boom. Biggest thing in the whole Direct. Metroid Prime 4. It looks so good. It looks so good. I love the new suit design. I like that it's sort of a take on the Varia suit. It looks so good. The psychic abilities thing is super cool. The idea that when they started controlling the shot and it was like going through enemies, that was just, it was insane. I think it's going to open up a ton of potential for puzzles and just all the different things that you can imagine, just putting it into that kind of context of being able to manipulate the world around you. Not just sort of like shoot something and it blows up and then something changes in the environment. Obviously, you're still going to do that, but the idea that you have these powers and can like actively manipulate, it's going to be so good. It looks beautiful. I do wish that we had a more definitive date. We already knew it's coming out this year. At first, I was pretty sure that Prime 4 was not going to be a cross-gen game. It wasn't going to release as like a separate, but looking at it now, it could be a game that comes out for the OG Switch, but the Switch 2 is already out. So we may look back on this and kind of remember Prime 4 as a Switch 2 game, kind of like Breath of the Wild. Technically, it was on Wii U, but we all think of it as a Switch game. I think Prime 4 is going to end up that way, and it's probably for the best. It's probably better that it carries the momentum of the Switch 2, or it rides the momentum, rather, of the Switch 2. I think that's probably better than it just landing on not a dead console, but the previous console, the OG Switch, and getting just sort of lost in obscurity. But anyways, it looks fantastic, and I could not be more excited for that game. Definitely the highlight of the Direct for me. Then we got some like Disney Villain Cafe game that I'm not going to play. We got more games I'm probably not going to play. Gradius. I like Gradius. I played it a little bit as a kid. Gradius is cool. I'm very sorry if you were a fan of any of these games. I don't want to do you the disservice of feigning interest. I'm not interested in them, but it's cool that you are. It's great that you are. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Rift of the Necrodancer looks pretty cool. I have never purchased one of these games, but my brother Ethan, who's on the podcast, the Power Up Brothers podcast with me, I should gesture this way, Power Up Brothers podcast with me. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. He really loves Cadence of Hyrule and the other Necrodancer game. What's it called? It's right here. Good job, editor me. Yeah, he really likes them, so I'm excited. It looks like kind of a Rhythm Heaven-esque game. Foreshadowing. Tamagotchi Plaza. Pokemon Legends ZA was in the Nintendo Direct. Moving on. Then we got Rhythm Heaven Groove. See? 5 shadowing. It's exciting. I didn't really play Rhythm Heaven back in the day. That's the theme of this Direct. I didn't play anything. I'm not interested in anything other than Metroid Prime 4. But man, am I interested in Metroid Prime 4. No, Rhythm Heaven was a series that I really had fun with at friends' houses and stuff. It was super cool. The music in it, I listened to the music from it all the time. It has such good music. I think that a lot of people regard it as like the penultimate rhythm game, like soul rhythm game. So I'm excited. I think a lot of people are excited. If you're excited for Rhythm Heaven Groove, let me know in the comments. I'm excited to see I want to live vicariously through you. If you're excited about any of these games, I want to live vicariously through you. Then we got a really weird announcement. I feel like I do have to talk about this. The virtual game card. On the surface, it's a cool idea. Like, I have a Nintendo Switch family group with me and my family, including my brothers who are on the podcast with me, Power Brothers Podcast. It's cool that if I have a game, they're not really sure about it, I can share it with them for 2 weeks. They can try it out, and then they can buy it if they want to. The concept is really cool. I love the idea of, like, having a virtual game card. I like that they called it a virtual game card. The only thing I'm dubious about is, like, is this them trying to cover up the fact that, like, they're getting rid of physical games? They're like, oh, don't worry, our digital games are just like physical games now. Because I don't like that. I mean, I don't like that at all. No. I mean, I know that the industry in general is moving away from having to read something off of a separate disk or storage device of any kind, and they want integrated for lots of reasons, not just greedy reasons, but also like performance reasons, and like you really need to run it off of a hard drive to get the kind of loading times and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. It's just that I don't like the idea of physical media going away, and this is a cool idea. I just hope that it's not the death of physical media. Then we got a cool sizzle reel where we saw stuff like High on Life, a lot of ports, I want to say. Star Overdrive, The Wandering Village, King of Meat, Lou's Lagoon Summer. Lou's Lagoon Summer, actually, I had never seen it before. It looks dope. It looks pretty cool. Fantasy Life I. I really liked the Fantasy Life on 3DS. I played it a lot with my brothers who are on the Power Brother podcast with me. I really liked it, and so this one looked like it was running kind of rough. I'm always amazed when these developers put out these trailers for games, and it's a trailer. Like, it's supposed to be showing the game in its best possible presentation, and yet the trailers, it's running at like 15 frames per second. I'm like, really? I mean, thank you for not lying, I guess. Like, but whatever. It's fine. Saga Frontier 2 Remastered. I know people that are going to be really excited for this. The like backdrops in it look amazing. It has that old school. I rented it from Movie Warehouse. I didn't live near Best Buy. Yeah, it has that really cool look. It looked really cool. I've never played any of the Saga games, but I'm excited to give this one a try. Then we got Everybody Golf Hot Shots. I was like, I thought this was a PlayStation only game. It is. I guess Sony is throwing Nintendo some bones. They want to improve their relationship. I mean, Sony Pictures is doing the Zelda movie, so maybe we can expect to see more of this. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Now, this looks pretty cool. I've always been a Marvel Comics fan, not like a super fan. I know that there's a lot of people that out-fan me hardcore in Marvel. One of those people is my brother Ty, who's on the Power Up Brothers podcast. No, it looks really cool. It's one of those like beat-em-up games. Back in the day, there was a game called Captain America and the Avengers that I played on the Sega Genesis. It looks like that on steroids. I love that you can do co-op and that you can do 4-player co-op. If you guys want to see me and my brothers play that game here on the channel, let me know in the comments. We'll set it up. We'll do it. We don't have to just be a podcast. Then we got the just most mind-blowing thing in the whole trailer. The biggest reveal of them all by far was Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I loved Tomodachi Life back on the 3DS. It was so weird. Like, Nintendo games sometimes can get pretty weird, but nothing on the level of Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life is so weird, and like, that's the beauty of Tomodachi Life. The weird, like, bit-crushed voices that you can change the pitch on, the fact that you can just load your friends into it and watch their lives play out in this weird, like, digital space where they're getting married and divorced and going to, like, performing in plays. It's so weird. If you haven't played it, you definitely should go back and play it, but I get it. It's not stuck on 3DS. I didn't know that it had been 10 years. That's insane. I mean, it makes sense because it does feel like it's been a long time, but 10 years? I'm so old. Yeah, but Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, it looks really cool. I'm really excited for this one. The fact that they said that it's going to be in 2026 is sort of them showing the fact that, just like they did with the 3DS, the Switch is gonna keep running concurrently with the Switch 2. If you bought a Switch this year, they really don't want you to feel like you invested in something terrible, and then the Switch 2 got announced, and now you're out of a bunch of money. They're gonna keep making games for the Nintendo Switch. It has a gigantic backlog. You really can't have buyer's remorse if you just got a Switch because there's so many games for the Switch. But I think they are trying to let people know that, yes, the Switch 2 is coming out this year, but the Switch will still be getting games for the foreseeable future. Also probably hedging their bets in case the Switch 2 doesn't do all that good. Then they capped it off with the Nintendo Today app, which is a cool idea. I like the idea of just getting sort of daily reminders of Nintendo stuff. I like the fact that they were very clear. They're not going to get rid of Nintendo Directs. They're still going to give that information directly to us. Yeah, I think that it's going to be neat. Like, Nintendo's obviously investing a lot in things outside of their console space, movies, apps. I think this is now going to be the third, just like daily, or not daily, but like the third app that you can just go to the App Store and download. Like, they have music, the Nintendo Switch Online, and now Nintendo Today. I think that's just sort of where the direction they're heading. They're just trying to get people integrated. I got kind of excited when I saw it because I thought it was going to be kind of like Miiverse was back in the day. I was like, oh, please bring back Miiverse. That would be so cool. But I don't think that they are. I think that it's just for Nintendo to put out news. Kind of weird to, like, you have to have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, or I think he just said a Nintendo account. I don't know the difference. But you have to already have a Nintendo account and then you get the news. So it's really not about advertising to new customers. It's about just sort of letting people who are already your customer have like a direct way of notifying you. I think they are trying to create a social media. They made it a while back. They announced that they're sort of phasing out integration with stuff like Twitter and Facebook directly from the Switch. So I do think they're moving towards their own social network, which is fine. Like, I know a lot of people don't like that, but in the current state of things with certain social medias, it's probably not a bad idea for them to just set up their own thing. I loved Miiverse. If you remember Miiverse from the Wii U, it was super fun. And then it got super weird once Nintendo wasn't moderating it anymore. But we don't talk about that. Hopefully this is sort of a move in them creating their own ecosystem. I know a lot of people don't like the sort of closed off ecosystems that different companies like Apple and Nintendo try to create, but I think they're fun. Not everything necessarily needs to be super interconnected, in my opinion. So overall, I think it was a really good Direct. Like, if you compared it to Directs in the past, it's probably pretty minor, not super exciting. But as far as, like I said, an end of console life Direct, it's pretty good. Like, getting a better look at a game that we've been waiting for since 2017, and getting a pretty big reveal at the end. It's big to fans. Like, you gotta remember, Tomodachi Life came out 10 years ago. I definitely already knew that before this. I don't feel like I'm wilting away. I think it was a pretty good Direct overall. I'm happy with it. It's insane that all this excitement over this Direct is now just going to move straight on into just 6 days away is the Switch 2. Just, it's too much, Nintendo. It's too much. You're doing too much. Stop. If you want to hear more about this, me and the guys talked about it on the latest episode of the podcast, which probably isn't up if you're watching this video right when we upload it, but it will be up, and I'll link it right here when it does go up. Check it out. If you don't know, I'm on a podcast with my 3 brothers. We host a podcast every single Thursday called the Power Up Brothers Podcast. If you haven't seen us, go check us out. We're really proud of it. It's something that we have a lot of fun doing, and if you want to watch it with us and come along for the ride, that'd be cool too. What did you think about the Direct? I want to know. As clearly as I've demonstrated, a lot of these games I don't know anything about, so I genuinely want to know, what are some games that I didn't mention that you're excited about? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'll see you in 6 days when the next Nintendo Direct hits.